Right, everybody, I'm going to make a start, and because most people will watch this on Watch Again. So I'm going to touch on New Year's Eve. I'm going to touch on New Year's resolutions, and I'm going to touch on doing a dry January. So do ask me any questions about any of those things that you want to, or anything else that crops up, quite frankly, because that's what I'm here for. I'm about to go into my 7th New Year alcohol-free. And when I think back to New Year's in the past, I actually can't really remember many of them. And those that I do have very fond memories of are the ones that were the least boozy. They're when a few of us got a cottage over a period of a long weekend and all went away. And whilst there was clearly a lot of drinking that went on about it, the whole weekend with all the other things that we did were the things that gave me this warm, and still give me this warm, fuzzy feeling about New Year's past. And the most important thing about that isn't that it was New Year, but that I was with friends, I was people that cared about me, and I was somewhere nice doing something with them. So the first message I want to give you this New Year is probably the same message that I give you all the time, actually, which is that we've got lots of really predetermined social norms about what we're meant to do. Oh my, it's New Year. We celebrate the turning of the new year. We always do that by raising a toast. So this is what must happen. But who made that rule? I mean, for goodness sakes, that's not how it happens the world over. There's all sorts of ways that people celebrate New Year. But what you will find is that through your family traditions or through social expectation, you've got an idea that if you're not doing A, B, or C, then your New Year is a complete flop. Yet when I speak to many of the members over the last few weeks, they always say that there's this great expectation about New Year being this amazing event, but most often it's not. So there's a real contradiction in what we're told New Year's meant to be, and that it's meant to be this great, exciting time. But often the fact that it's this socially prescribed and very contained set of time, like you must celebrate in this amount of time, stay up later than you normally would, celebrate the new year, it must be done with alcohol, is actually quite constraining if you think about it. So if you haven't already made plans, then the thing I would say to you is that there are no rules, and you can make your own rules about what New Year means to you. And if that means going to bed at 9:30 with a good book, then you can. You're not actually missing out on very much, because most people tell me they're not particularly enjoying the thing that they do at New Year. You do not have to artificially stay up to midnight and toast in the new year with a partner if you don't want to. Time will still carry on as it always does. So if that's what you want to do, then do it. If you want to go for a quiet meal just with a couple of friends rather than go to some big shindig, then do it. If you don't want to spend most of your evening schlepping around London on public transport or driving here, there and everywhere, then don't. Although I must say that somebody at the social yesterday said that they're really looking forward to the fact that they've been invited to 3 New Year's Eve parties and they can drive now because they're not drinking. So they're looking forward, most of all, doing 3 New Year's parties in one evening. And you know what? That's okay too. This is your New Year's Eve. Treat yourself with consent. And that also means that if your partner wants to go off and do something very celebratory, they don't need you to celebrate the new year. They don't need you just that turn of midnight. I mean, it's bonkers, isn't it, really, if you think about it? You could, if you wanted to, celebrate with them over a really lovely New Year's Day, early brunch instead. Let them go out and party and you do what you need to do. We don't have to be joined together at the hip to celebrate and to do what we want. Treating yourself with consent is something I'm very passionate about, which is that if you're not feeling very well, if you don't want to be somewhere, if you're not sure about something, then you can make a different decision for yourself. We do so many things because we think other people are expecting us to behave in a certain way or to do certain things. And actually the way for you to get hold of your drinking habits is to decide what it is that you need right now to get you through this tough part of changing your drinking habits. And so New Year is no different. Treat yourself with consent. That means that even if at 5 p.m. on New Year's Eve, you change your mind about what you want to do, you can do that, right? That's within your gift. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some of you going to events that you do want to go to that may have alcohol at them. And as always, a little bit of pre-planning will take you an awfully long way, right? So as always, Whoop is my favorite thing. So Whoop your new year. So that's wish, objective. I always forget the second O. That's really bad. There's me saying it's really easy to remember. Wish, objective, obstacle, plan. So my wish for this New Year's Eve is to actually feel, is to not worry about it so much. But my objective is to feel like I've got some things out of the way. I've cleared some things out of the way for me to take myself forward into what's going to be a very busy few weeks ahead of the festival. So I haven't quite decided what I want to do, but I have a strong compulsion. I've been staying, as some of you may see, this is not my flat. I've been staying in house sitting for over 2 weeks for friends of mine. So I feel like I'm suddenly moving back home in the new year. And so I've got a strong compulsion to make that home feel ready to be back in, ready for the new year. So you know what? I'm just going to go and clean and sort out and maybe find some space for my clothes. We won't even talk about that. And just be in the flat that I'm normally in during the rest of the year and make it feel like it's ready to tackle the new year ahead. I've cleaned the bathroom. I've maybe moved some things around. Don't tell you see that. I've sorted some stuff out. I actually need to get rid of some clothes that no longer fit. I want to wash my bedding and put clean bedding on, all of those sorts of things. That's what I think I want to do. And I think I want to get some crispy duck and hoisin sauce and pancakes from Marks and Spencer's and eat them at some point during that evening. And I think I probably, while I'm doing all of that houseworky stuff, want to listen to a book while I'm doing it. And you know what? That makes me feel really happy. And when I finish that, I'm going to go to bed, whatever time that is. And it may or may not be midnight. But that's what I've decided. That's a long objective, isn't it? But I'm trying to explain my objective to you, which is that when you feel personally invested in the outcome that you want, the objective that you want, then it's more likely you are to achieve it. So I don't want you just to say, I'm not going to drink this New Year's Eve. I want you to say, I don't want to drink this New Year's Eve because I want to be able to start the new year feeling fresh and energized. I want to do something really interesting with New Year's Day's morning. I want to feel that feeling of having a superpower by having not drunk at New Year's Eve. You need to have an objective that goes beyond merely saying, I want to do this. And that's the same if you're moderating on New Year's Eve. If you just say you're moderating, you'll never achieve it because it's you haven't looked at what the emotion is and what it is that you want to achieve with it. So what's your wish and what's your objective or your outcome that you're hoping for? You can type it in the little notes at the side. I'm really interested to see what the benefit to you is from having achieved that goal. Then you need to think about your obstacles, and your obstacles are actually in some ways quite obvious. People pouring you a first drink when you arrive, that toast at midnight, the fact that a lot of people might be half cut by the time you get to midnight and so on. So how are you going to manage that situation? And again, treating yourself with consent. If you don't think there's going to be something for you to drink that feels special, then take what you want with you that's special. Now, for some people, like, Dawn, that's going to be some water. And if that's special for you, that's great. But we all know that that there is that special thing. Certain drinks come with certain special, and water doesn't feel special. But you know that if you take something fizzy to go in a glass, not only will it look less conspicuous, but it will also feel a little bit special because it's got bubbles in, right? I'm not sure why the law says that if it's got bubbles in it, it's going to be special and more sophisticated. But anyway, and if you feel you need to, take your own. And again, make sure that if you are going somewhere where you think people are going to challenge you about what it is why you're not drinking, make sure you can really clearly articulate, I'm not drinking tonight because I've got plans tomorrow. Say it with such confidence, they would be mad to ask you any more questions. Yeah, I'm not drinking tonight, got stuff tomorrow. Anyway, how's your daughter? How's your son? How's your job? I like your new garden layout, whatever it is, move that subject on. But practice what it is that you're going to say to people who are asking you what you're going to be drinking tonight and why you're not drinking alcohol. Just cut them dead. Say it with confidence and move on. The minute you leave a little bit of a chink of, oh, well, I'm not drinking and because, you know, I'm trying not to drink so much, everyone will go, oh, well, you should wait to New Year and New Year's not tomorrow. You should have a drink tonight. Just have one. It's a celebration. And if people go, oh, but just have one as a celebration, go, I've got a drink to celebrate with. That's fine. You know, absolute confidence. Practice saying it in front of the mirror. I know that sounds weird, but until you actually articulate something and hear your voice saying it and saying it strong, you don't know what that sounds like, and you don't know how it's going to sound like to other people, and nerves may get to you. So just do it a few times before you go. So those obstacles of people asking you, those obstacles of having a drink in your hand. The other thing I will always say, and this is what I said for Christmas, which is it doesn't even matter if you've got a 10-course banquet happening that evening. Do not turn up feeling ravenously hungry. It's better that you eat less of the food overall than you've got a chink which says, oh, I'm hungry, maybe I will just have an aperitif, or oh, maybe I will just have a glass of something because I'm feeling really hungry. You know, it doesn't matter if you don't eat all that's on offer. The most important thing is you haven't drunk anything that's on offer, and that's what you're trying to do in the evening. So don't go hungry, don't go thirsty, drink plenty of water, take your own really exciting drink and have a really cast iron, this is what I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it. Do not bother me with your frivolous discussions about, you know, having a drink this evening. I've got this sorted. The other thing you can do is have a little reward for yourself when you get home. So know that in the back of your mind, you've got a nice hot chocolate to drink when you get back from whatever party you're at, or there's a chapter of a book you want to read before you go to sleep, or an episode of a box set. Have a little reward so that you can high-five yourself for having got through a really, really difficult situation. And you can think in the back of your mind, don't worry, I've got this, I'm not drinking tonight. When I get back, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing A, B, and C. I'm going to press buy on that item that I've put in the basket or on my wish list from the sale shop. Whatever it is, know that that's your reward when you get back at home and you can go, ooh, I've achieved it. That reward may be something you deliver to yourself the following morning. And sometimes it's really helpful to have a plan. So what is it you're going to do on New Year's Day morning? On New Year's Day morning, I'm going to come back to this flat that I'm staying in. I'm going to feed the cat. And then I'm actually going into the gym because bizarrely my gym isn't open New Year's Eve, but it is open on New Year's Day. And I want to be one of the first people into the gym on New Year's Day because I know that after that, that gym's going to be pushed solid. It's going to be packed, and I want to be in there knowing that I've got a workout in, and then I'm actually going into work. But the excitement of actually taking some time, not having to fight for machines, maybe going into the pool afterwards on the roof, and then maybe having a steam and sauna before I then go into work is going to be really cool. So I'll come here really early, feed the cat, and then get down there. That's going to be absolutely awesome. And that's my treat. That's my reward for getting through that evening unscathed and alcohol free. I'm just gonna check. Just to answer Alice about why people are so pushy. Partly because we're in an alcohol-centric culture, so people can't believe you can celebrate without alcohol. We've been taught from a very young age, through generation and generation, that the way to celebrate and the way to be, the way to treat yourself, the way to reward is all about alcohol. So people automatically assume you're missing out if you're deciding not to do that, and particularly at New Year's Eve. I remember speaking to somebody once who said, well, you know, my daughter's getting married in a few weeks, and to not have that glass of champagne to celebrate would just be terrible. And I thought, your daughter's getting married, that's the most important thing. What somebody drinks and whether Auntie Doris down there isn't drinking anything actually doesn't matter. It's the event that's the important thing, not what you drink. But actually, we're very socially programmed to think that it's all about the quality of the drink. And so you might find there are some hosts who will say to you, oh, but I've got champagne in. And actually, and that's because they have worked very hard to get the best of something that we're told is the most important thing at an event, when really they should say, what is it? You are my guest. I want you to feel as comfortable and happy as everyone else. What is it I can get for you that makes you feel absolutely 100% included in this event? Because actually it's the event that's important, not what's in your glass. But we are really socially, this is such a social conditioning. I cannot tell you that what we're batting against is some really strong social norms, which is why you have to be really clear with people. You know, I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here because I'm here with you. It doesn't matter what's in my glass. I'm really pleased that you've invited me. I'm really glad to be here. Now give me some fizzy water and that's absolutely fine. I am not rejecting your hospitality because I'm not drinking champagne. I am not having less of a good time because I'm not drinking champagne. And you can repeat that. I'm here because I want to see you and some of these other people. It doesn't really matter what's in my glass. You can have that moral philosophical debate with them, or you can just shut them down, or you can take your own alcohol-free fizz and top yourself up in the corner. But you are right, Alice, it is an absolute obsession. So let me carry on. Right, okay, so I'm really pleased, Jack, that your objective is to walk up Parliament Hill to watch the fireworks. I understand it's going to be very busy. That's what normally happens, apparently. But I think making sure that you have something really lovely to drink up there that is probably quite warming will make you feel really happy as well. Now, what else was I going to touch on? Yeah. Now, the other thing we tend to do on New Year's is make resolutions. And I can tell you there's nothing more exciting than not having give up drinking as your New Year's resolution. I had that as my New Year's resolution for nearly 20 years. And for that no longer to be a resolution is just liberating. I cannot tell you. Some of you may want to set a resolution about carrying on and making sure that you keep an eye on ambivalence and don't let things slip in the new year. Some of you, you know, tackling this will be part of your New Year's resolution without a doubt. But I want you to know that come 2020, all of you, if you work really hard this year, then giving up drinking or cutting down on drinking will not be a resolution next year. And you can start to think about other things and moving your life on to other things that you want to achieve. My New Year's resolution, which I've actually started early, is to learn how to do cryptic crosswords, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's great. It doesn't involve any exercise, doesn't involve any not drinking, it doesn't involve any calorie counting. It's just something I want to do for me. It's really very liberating. Now, for those of you who are setting a goal for New Year around your drinking, I will tell you a couple of things that are really important. You are likely to lump all of your resolutions in together. I want to give up drinking, get fit, eat less, lose weight, and have so many New Year's resolutions that what happens is if you fail on one of them and don't become automatically a perfect person as designed by, you know, most of the magazines on the shelves in the supermarkets, then you're likely to hit the fuck it button on them all. So if your aim is to keep to 1,300 calories a day to lose weight, and then you eat a chocolate bar, or you'll go, fuck it, I can't do this. And then you'll open a bottle of wine and you'll get the chocolates out and that's it, it's all gone. And you can really see how all of your goals go like a domino effect. If you feel you haven't achieved one, you just give up on them all. So I want you to be really conscious of that this year, that there is one primary goal that will make everything possible in your future, and that's getting your drinking under control. Now, if you want to keep an eye on your diet and if you want to lose weight as distractions to support that goal, by all means do that, because you're going to have a lot of free time if you're changing your drinking. You're going to want to do a walk around the block instead of having a glass of wine. You're going to want to feel that and do something with all that energy you've got. You will be able to think about your food a little bit more, because you have a little bit more time and space to do that. But I want you to know that if you eat the chocolate bar and don't stick to that calorie goal, it doesn't matter, because your primary goal is about not drinking. So if there's a day when you've got really strong discomfort and all you want to do is have a drink, and I say to you, why don't you just have something sweet, because that will hit the reward centers and that will take the edge off of how you're feeling right now. And you go, oh no, but I can't, because then I'll have too many calories. I would say to you, eat the chocolate, deal with that discomfort. Without a doubt, 3-4 months down the line, once these feelings of discomfort have subsided a lot more and you're feeling a lot more confident, then step up on your diet. Everything does not have to be all at once. Some of you know that I've been on a diet and exercise regime this year, and my goal for this year wasn't to start off perfect. I started off with a small goal on eating regularly and not snacking in between. And then I stepped it up and added in some exercise. And then I stepped it up by adding in some calorie counting. And then I did this. And then for 2 months, I actually went off piste and didn't do any exercise, but tried to keep to the eating. My year didn't go perfectly by some magazine standards, but I kept at it, and slowly and surely I've got, by doing lots of things in different ways and not seeing that it is a continuous whole year acting in a certain way, I've got to somewhere where I want to be. And that will be the same for you, which is that, you know, if you try and do it all at once, the chances are that you might hit the fuck it button on it all. But if you see it as a lot of actions that will get you to where you want to be, and that your calorie counting and your gym work and all those things are all about supporting you not drinking, and that's your primary goal, then you will succeed. I have a cat scratching a sofa behind me. Bonnie, you want to be in this webinar or what? Don't look at me with these innocent eyes. Oh. Anyway, so I am so passionate about this, because I see lots of people going, oh gosh, I started to eat loads of chocolate, now I'm giving up drinking, and oh no, this is awful, that means giving up drinking isn't working. And I will say to you, giving up drinking is working, but eating those chocolates right now is okay. You can deal with the rest later. Your energy and everything will be so much better after 6 months. You can begin to tackle other things. So I'm going to be really hard on you all this year if you start going, oh no, I've not gone running this morning, which means that clearly giving up drinking isn't working, and so I'm a failure. I'm going to just open a bottle of wine. I'm not having any of it. I want us all to be really hard on each other. The primary goal is giving up drinking. Everything else is just there to support it. And whatever you do, try not to drink. There are lots of sirens going outside here. I know some of you can hear that. So that's my tip for you on resolutions. And don't always, you know, we always lump in all the health stuff when giving up drinking, but actually you may find that you taking up cryptic crosswords, doing some other things that are distraction activities will be really helpful for you in the new year. So maybe go, I'm going to give up drinking and I'm going to start doing anagrams or crochet or jigsaws or adult colouring in or watching more webinars or any of those things. Why not have something that's a bit more positive rather than lots of things that are all about trying to fit a mould that society tells us we have to do. This cat wants playing with. She's playing now with the ball thing that is behind. She's going, my time now. Anyway, so maybe think about some nice resolutions that aren't all about punitive, doing things, denying yourself things. Try and find some supportive resolutions to your alcohol-free goal that are about adding things in, adding nice things in, some things you might want to try. You might want to go out and try, you know, some salsa dancing. Go and do it. It's far more interesting, and salsa dancers don't tend to drink loads at their events. So, you know, try and find some nice things, some things around self-care for yourself to do. Then the final thing I want to talk about, because we're very bad at doing this in Club Soda, but we actually have a program called Sober Sprint, which is our online program designed by a psychologist to take you through a month of not drinking. There's a microsite where you've got lots of information to help you get through the month. You get daily emails, you get different tools to help you monitor and check your progress, and lots of videos and support. And it's not very expensive. Everything about Club Soda is trying to keep things affordable. So I know that this program isn't dissimilar to something that you would pay £250 for with some other people and some other organisations. And we charge £35 for it, which represents the time that it's taken us to write it and all of those things. Then we have an 8-week program that you can do afterwards, which will keep the support afterwards. And if you're looking to drink more mindfully, we'll also help you through that. But our programs are designed to be there for you. And it means that you can also talk to other people doing that program within the Club Soda community as well. So I've put the link for that in the webinar description. But it's a great program and I really enjoyed writing it. We've built it with all the knowledge that we know, and we'll be rebuilding new versions of this in the new year, she says, fingers crossed. Now, also to let you know that during January, we're running a 2-day mindful drinking festival in central London. And if you're outside of London, it's definitely worth the trip. We have got lots of free workshops as part of that weekend. So for example, Radio 2's Janie Lee Grace, who's a member here, will be hosting a number of fireside chats with model Ricky Hall and Rock Sober, for example, asking and talking to them about their sobriety. We've got panel discussions with all the authors who've brought out books this year. We've got Adrian Charles coming on the Sunday. We've got loads and loads of bars and venues and drinks writers, including Redemption Bar and Dishoom, doing cocktail demonstrations on the stage. So you'll be able to learn a bit more about drinks. John Downs, the wine sommelier, will be doing how to become an alcohol-free wine expert. And we've also got Jane Payton and loads of other beer sommeliers doing beer tours of the festival. We've got talks about happy hour yoga, health and fitness. What else have we got? Oh, and we've got a conversation between millennial Instagrammers about the challenges when you're under 30. It's a really packed program. There'll also be a Club Soda community table, so you'll be able to find other Club Soda members and have a talk with them, as well as members from 1 Year No Beer and Soberistas, and also women who don't drink. So so maybe plug that in. It's on the 14th of January, which will be a really difficult weekend. It will be that first weekend where you'll feel like coming out again after Christmas, and you'll be able to try over 60 alcohol-free drinks, which is a really momentous thing to be able to do. So if, like a few other people, you can bring a suitcase and go back stocked up with lots of things. Do ask us questions here in the community, either on this thread or generally. We've just introduced a whole load of new admins to our groups, which we're really grateful for, to help us manage the whole new set of people.